Hello, everybody. Hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure if you've been here before, you check your subscribe button. Everybody else would love it if you hit that subscribe button. I'm Natalie, and this is Scientology Life After a Cult, where we recap the news about Scientology that has the internet buzzing as I share about my 35 years in Scientology, growing up in Scientology, but most importantly, leaving and escaping Scientology with 3 generations of my family. I am so happy that you are all here and truly appreciate you and your help. I especially want to give a shout out to everyone who emails me at Natalie at tonkatalk.com to send me clips and news and things that they're seeing about Scientology, because there's just so much and it's fabulous. I am here for all of it. I think you are as well. So there is a lot of news to get through, a lot, and some amazing clips and content that was put out recently by a few people in the ex Scientology and the SPTV community, sharing and helping people, especially people protesting. We're going to go over some things that people actually definitely should know and need to know that's going to help them if they're out there protesting. We're going to talk about a little bit of Danny Masterson news and an update. There was stuff in the Daily Mail we're going to take a look at. We're even going to look at how Scientology seems to be trying to weaponize the Nextdoor app. Is anybody surprised? We are going to take a look at that as well, and protest news around the country. I'm really excited to get to when we get to Portland. Jeff over at PTS for Life has just been doing a great job over there, and I'm excited to share actually with all of you what he's been doing recently and share that. Very excited. Can you tell? I'm very excited. We are going to start with a little bit of Danny Masterson news. He was attacked in prison, and then he was moved and attacked. I'm trying to get it straight still. I'm going to share a couple clips about this. And I want to be clear, though, sharing this news about what happens to him, I don't support violence of any kind, even against somebody like him. I know that there's their own culture in prison and how things work. It's difficult to share to the degree that just, I don't want any harm to come to any human being, even ones that, in the public eye may or may not deserve it. So let's just share what's being said. Let's start there and go from there. And if you have questions, if you could put question in all caps and have your question followed, we can take a look. At that and find that easier. So this is JD Delay. He has got a big presence here on YouTube, does a lot of great content. Let's hear what he's got to say.
So they used that as a reason to give him an emergency custody override to get him to the colony. Now, look, here's the thing. This might be the last update that I have for y'all, because I don't have nobody inside that colony, bro. I never, and before yesterday, I'd never heard of the California Men's Colony. When I heard about it, I was like, yo, is that like some Scientology, secret bunker or something? Did he get, Scientology right up out of prison? But no, it's not. It's been around since, the night.
Sidebar here. I love that he's calling out Scientology and their role in what happened with Danny Masterson. He started doing this in other videos as well. And that's why I grabbed this particular clip, because I think it's great, even though, wouldn't it be, Scientology does have their own prison area, and they claim they don't do it anymore, the Rehabilitation Project Force. But Scientology has a tendency to rename things and rebrand and still be doing what they were doing before. So who knows for sure if that exists in the Sea Org. But let's get back to this.
Since the 1958, and it's a real life prison, and Suge Knight has been there. Timothy Leary was there for a while and then escaped. So it's a real life prison in California. It's just a little bit nicer than where he was at. So they used that as a reason to give him.
So that the clip was just repeating there. Aaron, at growing up in Scientology, had a take on it as well. And I wanted to take a look at what he was sharing there. And I'm so glad that Aaron's feeling better and he's back doing videos, because I don't know about you guys, but I really missed him. And seeing his video Aaron has been one of my favorite content creators on YouTube, not even just in the FSP TV genre, just overall. Because, you know, if I'm not watching Scientology content, I'm pretty much watching now this prison talk content or anything having to do with camping. Glamping, glamping, glamping. Glamping is camping. I don't care what you say.
We don't know for sure which facility in the men's colony Danny is in. The reason why I find it interesting that they have a 50-bed mental health crisis unit is that part of what JD discussed in his videos is that in Corcoran, Danny had actually been put on a hold. And I'm hesitant to be too specific in my language here because I'm almost certainly going to get it wrong. But I remember that when I was listening to JD's videos about this, not the one today, but previously, it sounded to me like Danny Masterson had been isolated into a solitary unit that also was for mental health crisis situations. Now, again, I'm hesitant to be too specific about this because I don't want to get it wrong. But it was my understanding that because it had become common knowledge that a hit had been put out on Danny, that he was basically using this mental health crisis claim as a means of protection. Now, it would stand, and as JD did say in the video tonight, he was refusing to leave his cell.
Honestly, what interested me most about this is here's where my curiosity goes. As someone, you know, Danny Masterson grew up in Scientology. And as you guys know, Scientology is very against counseling or therapy or acknowledging mental illness. And when you're in a situation like he is he going to go through with counseling and those things, especially when he was put in the area where if you needed mental health help that you would be there? I'm real curious about that. How does that work? And, you know, there's no really way for us to know, at least at this point, what's going through his mind. But I wonder if he would be open to that, you know, because how does that work in prison? But if you don't believe in getting help for mental health, how does that work? I'm not sure. And I don't know how there is a way to know. I hope he avails himself of any therapy that can be given in prison to help him, because it's growing up in Scientology and he definitely, something's not right with that kid. I mean, we know that. We know this. He wouldn't have done what he did. And I have felt, and this is my feeling and belief, that he really thought he was in his right with what he did when he essayed his victims. And there's a certain viewpoint in there of entitlement and being condescending that sometimes goes with Scientology. Not all Scientologists, but I've seen this with the celebrities, right? They're above the law and all that. And Scientology thinks that they're above the law. So why wouldn't he think that as well? If you followed my story, you know that when I went to go get my daughter from the Sea Organization when she was 14 and they wouldn't let her leave, I flew out there from Minnesota to LA. I was told on the phone by the person in charge of boot camp for Sea Org members that the Sea Org doesn't have to follow law outside of Scientology, except he used a derogatory word for that. And my immediate response to that was, I will see you tomorrow. And I got myself on a plane. As he tried to say, no, you can't come out here. I'm like, watch me. I know how to call Delta. I know how to book a flight. And I did go out there and I did get her back. But that's just something that just keeps sticking in my head is, will he get that kind of help? Will Scientology try to interfere as well? I just don't know. I don't know what I want to know. And it's frustrating. All right. A lot of you sent me this Daily Mail article and video that came out about the interaction that occurred outside of La Poubelle the other night that resulted in 3 protesters being arrested. 2 of them are now out of jail. DOA, Scotty, is still in jail. And I do believe he has court on Wednesday. This was interesting. We all know NBC locally in LA did a story where they skipped over all the Scientology stuff. And at least, it's the Daily Mail, but at least it does include information about Scientology, the connection with Danny Masterson and La Poubelle. And they show a video of what happened, and there's the guy there who was blowing smoke in Hollywood Aj's face, flicked whatever he was smoking at LA Cam, and then attacked LA Cam. So there's links down below to everything so you can read the full article. We're not going to read the whole thing because we got a bunch of stuff to get through, but I did link it down below, and there's a video that goes with it too. I wonder if you can, well, you can go see it down below if you haven't, but I wanted to bring it to anybody's attention who might not have seen it. And at least they did include the stuff about Scientology in there. That's a plus. Now, when you think about Scientology tactics and how they're responding to protests or how they respond to any critics about Scientology, there are certain things that they do. They follow the L. Ron Hubbard playbook for handling critics of Scientology, which didn't work when he wrote it way back when, and it doesn't really work now. But does that stop them from using it? No, it does not. It does not. They just have to. They have to use it. They have to follow these things. And Jeffrey Augustine did a video, which I'm going to share a clip from, where he's sharing how locally, you guys, everybody's got the Nextdoor app, at least here in the US. Maybe it's in other countries. I don't know. My Nextdoor app where I live is mostly coyote sightings, kids pranking, stuff like that. You get the occasional crime, but it's a lot of stuff like that. And it would seem here that Scientology is trying to utilize Nextdoor, this community app, to spread their propaganda and paint a narrative of what's happening with the protesters against Scientology. Totally stuff that they do, right? This is totally on brand for them. But let's just take a look at what Jeff Augustine has to say here.
So Scientology is trying to create a dangerous environment racket in the local community on Nextdoor. And they have, of course, they have a picture of Streets LA, who they can't handle at all. And some of our other people who've shown up. So they've decided to single these people out. Now there's comments on it. And, but Scientology for a long time here in the area from East Hollywood, where PAC base is, Big Blue, all the way through Franklin Village, is a Nextdoor community. And so OSA will often be on there, but this is the first time they have come on large. Let me go back to this. They've come on large, and you can see these are the stochastic terrorists. No, they're not. They're free speech advocates. So Scientology's.
Yep. So Scientology trying to take free speech advocates and paint them as terrorism. And the words they're using, I had to look it up because I didn't even know what that was, where they're calling them stochastic terrorists, which is, as I came to learn, a type of terrorism that involves using mass media to encourage random ideologically motivated violence, which, as we know, that is the pot calling the kettle black. Who's trying to incite violence repeatedly? Who has the long history of inciting violence, especially when it comes to people who are critics of Scientology, to then paint themselves as the victim? Anybody? Yeah, Scientology. Scientology does. Long history. Goes back decades. Talk to Tori Magoo. Tori Magoo 44 here on YouTube. She's back speaking out about Scientology. She is an OG protester and critic of Scientology. She was there. She was a person who was handling protesters. So she knows exactly what and how they attempt to handle this, which they never handle it. They just stir the pot, and it just backfires. It backfires on them over and over again. Oh No Nora did a great video, which again, full video, it's linked down below. I have part of that where she really lays it out too. What is the Scientology playbook when it comes to critics of Scientology and when it comes to people protesting? She did an amazing job, and I want to share part of this. It was just so powerful. It's called No Surrender. Nora herself is heading out to protest, I believe, in Los Angeles coming up. And this was just so great. I mean, she knows the playbook and she's sharing the playbook. This is fantastic. All right, take a look and a listen.
So part of this now, as we're seeing, is we're getting like a different cast of characters being thrown at the protesters at random times. Different techniques are being used, right, to throw the protesters off. Okay. And they're having people be very confrontational, which is inviting people into their space. And then now it's on like Donkey Kong, as we used to say when I was a kid. And now there's a lot of clashes and inviting more physical confrontations. The one thing you have to know when you get into any of these things is behind the scenes look in that building across the street at Celebrity Center, the security chief, James Richardson. Hi, James, if you're watching. Hi. Used to do drills with all of us on exactly how to deal with hostile people, right?
This is really important because we've actually seen this done. And here Nora is sharing how Sea Org members, people are trained to do this.
Protesters, people who came on with bad intentions and all this type of stuff. The number one thing we were taught is to get them to come close to you so that you could either actually get them to touch you in some way, shape, or form, and just a casual, enrage them enough where they might be like, hey, stop that, just like anything, any sort of touch on your body. And all you have to do is then throw yourself like a basketball, LeBron James type flop, right? Just LeBron James yourself onto the floor and start screaming. Okay. We were also taught how to disarm a gun. We were also taught how to, get people agitated enough. So these cast of characters that you're seeing, they're hiring kind of like low hanging fruit here that they're trying to, not be associated with Scientology, right? They're not like throwing, B-list Scientologist actors at these guys. But like this guy last night who I loosely call Motley Crue,
So you got to watch the whole video. It's so great. And definitely anyone who's protesting or thinking about doing so with Scientology needs to know this. It's the same playbook that they have been using forever. So it can be predictable what they're going to do. And part of one of the many things that I just love about William Good is he'll give it to the police when, they cross a line or he's calling them out. But you also see him and other protesters multiple times educating the public on Scientology and why they're there and the abuses and what was going on and not taking the bait. That's one thing we saw early on in front of the Hollywood Testing Center is him working with these younger people who are protesting and live streaming to not take the bait. That Scientology is going to try to push their buttons, right? Because that's what they do. Like Nora explained, to kind of get some trouble started, get something going, and you just can't fall for it. Don't take the bait. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm so glad that Nora put out this message. And I know that I'm sure she's going to share more like this and other people as well who who were on the other side, if you will, and can share, hey, this is what you got to watch out for. This is you got to watch out for. And speaking of William Good, Scientology Audit Streets LA, he was sharing yesterday. He did a couple live streams that were great, as usual. And he gets into talking about just this interesting tidbit about the LAPD and their training that I was not aware of. And I thought he makes a really good point. So give this a look and a listen.
And they were talking about techniques to deal with stress. And so they would ask cops questions about use of force. And the thing is, if they didn't know the answers or if they didn't answer them fast enough, they made them beat things with their batons. Like that was punishment. If you didn't know the answer fast enough, you had to beat something. So its message is clear. If you're not sure of the answer, just start beating something. What type of sick shit is that? I'll post that later on Twitter.
What in the world? What in the world? Did you hear that? If you don't know the response to something, if you don't know what to say, just get the baton out and start beating. And he said he was going to share that later on Twitter. So I'm going to go check and keep an eye out for that. The more that we learn about the LAPD and their training and all that, it's such a rabbit hole. It is such a rabbit hole. Last night, protesters were out on Hubbard Way. I think it was Tao's 30th day. Is that right? Tell me in the chat, in the comments. If you're catching this on the replay, jump in and join the conversation. Let me know where you're watching from, what you think, what your questions are. It really helps. It totally helps. And Tao was out there on Hubbard Way, and he ran into, what is that guy's name? He's being called a Scientology operative, Scientology plant. It's Tony Pierce, I believe. And Tao has an interaction with him, and the other protesters do. Yes, it was Tao's 30th day of streaming, which is so great. And so Tao's out there and runs into him. This is on Hubbard Way. Links down below. Definitely, I recommend subscribing to all of these channels to stay up to date and see. You know, I share tidbits of what they're doing, but there's so much more that's there. So let's give this a little look and a listen.
Well,
be very true. No man should hit a woman.
Would do that. You've never heard.
I didn't say would.
Yeah.
I said no man should.
Can you like?
And this is so. In case you don't know, this is the guy who followed Confident Chris the other day. We shared about that when Confident Chris went to the location of where he was assaulted. And I think he was somewhere where he was seeing about some footage. And this guy was questioning him about him. Did you get the footage? Are you there to get footage? And it's just very suspect. So let's listen to the rest of it.
Not though.
I saw that on video.
You did not see it.
I did.
You did not.
So who did you hit that day?
This is what I did. Can everybody look up for a second?
Now he's talking about an interaction he had with LARA FM, which I have a clip of that I'm going to share right afterwards. This is what he's saying happened.
The selfie stick was coming at me. Mm-hmm. I moved it across, much like a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And the selfie stick fell to the ground. She was not hit. I was not hit. The selfie stick was coming
Can I move your selfie stick really quick?
No, that's not how it went. Okay, hey, Tom.
I mean, Laura's my girl, man. I love Laura. You know, I support her. Uh-oh.
By you moving or touching, pushing, moving, however you want to describe.
I did this.
Right, but that's an extension of her.
All right, so this is the guy, Tony Pierce, who Chrissy Bixler, who's one of the Jane Does, identified him as someone who has been known to harass victims of Scientology. That's where some of that is coming from as well. And he makes reference to this incident that happened a few months ago with LARA FM, where she calls him out as being put up to his harassment of these protesters. I think this was back in September of last year. But this is the incident that they're referring to. So let's take a little look and listen here.
I can yell as loud as I want forever, dude. Why don't you ask what we're yelling about?
Just we
children being abused.
Don't hit me.
I didn't hit you. Oh, that's such a
Okay, you see how he says, "Don't hit me," and in the other video, he's saying he wasn't hit, she wasn't hit, but in the video, he's saying, "Don't hit me." And what did we just hear from Nora? Right? You try to get people close enough to you that you can either provoke them into violence or create a narrative where they did commit violence against you. So this is what makes him just seem more sus, as the kids say.
I don't have anything to say. Dude, this was high by side. This dude has a business some business that's hired by Scientology. I don't care. He's on the record, bro. Yeah, I would love to know what your business is. What's your business? Yeah, doesn't matter.
So interesting, right? He's like, I didn't get hit. She didn't get hit. But in the video, it's don't hit me. That's totally a tactic that, as we just heard even from Nora, that Scientology trains its people to do. I mean, Nora called it out. LARA called it out that day, and we're seeing it. What else we're seeing are growing protests. We're going to hop over to Portland because PTS for Life was there, and he had a little interview with a gentleman, a Scientologist, who was locked out of the building. He was locked out of the Scientology building, and frankly, I was surprised that left this guy locked out for this long. It went on and on. But I do give the guy credit. I do give the Scientologist credit for having a conversation with Jeff, who is so polite. But check it out.
Good morning. I think the door is locked at this point. Are you guys staff members or public?
Who are you?
Oh, my name is Jeff. What's your name?
My name's John.
Hi, John. Nice.
What are you doing today?
I'm just doing some public filming. What are you doing?
I'm going to work.
Oh, so you work here. What's your post? I grew up in Scientology, so I can speak like a Scientologist. What's your post? I wouldn't say I'm antagonistic. The thing is, I try and communicate with people at the org, but they don't want to talk to me, even though communication is the universal solvent. They can't do it. And I'm curious why. Do you have any idea? Because literally, I don't say anything to anybody. All I do is take pictures.
Well, sometimes it's difficult to talk when there's misinformed people out there.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, let's take that up. So when I was younger, I was 14 years old. I was made to disconnect from my mother because she disagreed with the way Scientology was going. Hang on. I don't think you are. No, I'm finishing my communication here. So the other thing too is when I was 14, I was suicidal. And the OT8 DSA told me that if I killed myself, I would just come back worse than I was. Is that a good thing to say to a 14-year-old? A suicidal 14-year-old. I attempted suicide. Do you think that was a good thing to do? She was OT. Right. Sorry? It is true. Oh, 100% it's true. Well, 3 weeks ago, my dad disconnected from me because I was making videos. And he didn't even see them because that's LRH policy. Do you think that's right? Do you think that your ideologue, your building, and the staff and the public have really expanded that much like David Miscavige seems to say it is? Orgs are empty.
You have an agenda?
I do. I'm here to ask questions. Okay, well then, I mean, I'm going to continue filming.
7-year-old cousin in a convalescent hospital, the Scientology crippled. They take absolutely no responsibility for his care. His other siblings are going bankrupt caring for him.
Is this your kid here?
Oh, yeah.
Are you a Scientologist as well? Because I tell you what, run. Why? Well, reasons I just said. Search Google.
I love that the kid asked why. You can tell, one, he's not happy that this interaction is going down, but he's listening. And I find it hard to believe that this kid isn't going to go Google Scientology abuses after this interaction and find out what the deal is, because he asked why. Let's get back to it.
Google. Search on Google Scientology abuses.
Go on YouTube.
There are more ex-Scientologists than there are Scientologists now. There's about 20 or 30,000 Scientologists worldwide.
Millions of them. Okay.
They say there's millions, but there's not. Well,
there's not. Yes.
That there isn't? Yeah.
Oh,
Go to every single ideal org and every other org. There are not nearly as many Scientologists as Dave Miscavige seems to think there is or promote.
If there were as many as they say there are, and there's 200 orgs, there should be 100, and I think it was 138,000 is what they figure out coming to each org.
This is facts. Like, these are facts that he's asking him. And even though the gentleman, he's not completely shutting it off. And the way that Jeff is approaching, in a way that's asking with curiosity in these questions, it's impactful. Even though the guy, he's kind of smirking and doing his things, the kid is hearing it, and this guy is hearing it. And sometimes you need to hear this when you're in a cult over and over and over again. I know I did. And it's one more chink at the armor, you know, it's just one more hit there.
Are you an
I
O?
don't think there's that many people.
Are you an OT? Are you
I've
up the
been down
bridge?
here a few times. There's not.
How many people went to your last event, the New Year's event? How many people went there? How many public were there? Just like, it's an honest answer, honest question. How many?
There's lots of people that help you. Go on
No, but
YouTube.
I'm totally open to my agenda. I'm completely open. I am anti-Scientology. I'm not anti-Scientologist. I'm okay with that. I think most Scientologists are good people. And
And I love that he made that point, because I've said that too. All Scientologists are not. There's no, it like saying all Scientologists are evil or supporting these abuses. It's not accurate. Some of them know about it and they are, but some of them also don't. I don't know what the case is with this gentleman. I can imagine that he made it wherever he is on the bridge to total freedom, because it sounds like he did some upper levels without hearing some stuff and seeing some stuff, especially being on staff. So check it out.
and I don't know you, but you're probably a good person. But Scientology itself, oh, you know what? You seem like it. You know why? You know why I know that? Because you're actually talking to me. Whereas the people who don't talk to you, they have something to hide. You obviously don't have anything to hide. And I do love your hat, by the way. Yeah, I wish I could pull hats off like that, but I can't. I just wear baseball caps. So yeah, how many people went to your New Year's? Like, I assume you're in Scientology a long time. Do you see the straight up and vertical stats, or? Yeah, that's what I thought, guys. They're not going to let you in. Okay, what's your post? This right now. Okay, no problem. How come you don't have a key to the org if you're going to work? You're not a key holder? So it must not be a very high post then. Is that a Scientologist there too?
I just can't get over how long they know this guy's at the door, right? There's cameras. He's knocked on the door multiple times. The biggest thing here, I'm like, what is happening? Why is he being kept out this long? But at least he continues the conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, we've already gotten several cam backs. It's fine. I don't mind. My face is all over the internet, so I'm good. I have no idea why they're not letting him in, guys. No, he's not public. He's a staff member. He is going to get punished for talking to me. He's going to go to ethics for sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry somebody has to come out here and turn him in there.
What did you do to pull me in? Oh, okay. So you are OT then. You are OT then, because you obviously know. No, you're right. 100% agree with you.
You're not here to stir up shit. So.
I'm not here to stir up shit. Am I? Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? Yesterday I showed up and I had never been here before. And as soon as I showed up with the camera, all the blinds went down. Why is that?
He didn't say anything to anybody.
Well, no, I can't figure it out because you guys won't answer the question. But literally, you guys spent millions of dollars on this building and the public information center, but you just shut it down as soon as someone comes with a camera. It makes zero sense.
Well, an agenda, man. Why would we?
Yeah, but
why would we forward your stupid agenda?
Why is it stupid?
Because it's stupid.
Yeah, but no, I know that's not a good argument. Why is it stupid?
Well,
Tell me.
It's not an argument. It is stupid. You're ignorant and misinformed. Right?
I'm not though. I spent 30 years in Scientology. I'm not. I'm trained.
Yeah, well, you got other stuff going on, man.
Yeah, like what? Like what? Tell me.
Your agenda, what you're doing right now.
Well, I know, but this is not other stuff. This is
You're
this
trying
stuff.
to justify whatever you did, and hopefully it comes out for you sometime.
I'm not trying to justify anything.
Oh, sure.
So where are you on the
You
bridge?
bet you are. Mind your business.
Okay. Well, where are you on the bridge?
Where are you?
Right now?
Nowhere.
I'm off the bridge.
Yeah.
I went up the bridge, but I'm off the bridge now.
I can see you around.
How come they're not letting you in?
There's nobody out.
So he's got to be wondering at this point too, like, how come nobody's letting me in? He ends up having to go around the building. But what I think is interesting as well, he stays the whole time and is willing to have this conversation with Jeff. And Jeff's channel, by the way, PTS for Life. Go over there and subscribe because he's doing great work over there. And it takes, when protesting, we're seeing many different styles. And it's going to take that because people get into Scientology for many different reasons, and they're going to leave for many different reasons and different ways. This is just one style of doing it. And Jeff really maintains his cool. And I want you to pay attention to what it does take before this guy is willing to walk away. What Jeff brings up, where at this point he's got to walk away.
Oh no, there's a guy around the corner. I saw him. He was peeking his head around the corner. Yeah, he was. I have it on video. It's live streamed.
Wow, I'm glad you got it on video. I found somebody.
Oh my God, guys.
Wow, are you
Hang on. Can you do that again? Can you do that dance again? Because that is gonna be part of my intro. What did you guys think of his dancing? Yeah, you're right. Sir, they're telling you to get your TRs in. Guys, he already knows the clear cognition. He knows the clear cognition is he's been making up his own reactive mind, and now he's not doing it anymore. And if you're not clear, young one, that's what it is. That's what it is.
And there we go. Clear cognition, one of the hidden secrets in Scientology that you pay tens of thousands, if not $100,000 to get to. And he knows this because he knows what it is. The kid is likely, he has not done that yet, so he doesn't know.
Did you know that the clear cognition is that you have to realize you are making up your own reactive mind and you're no longer doing it anymore? That's all you have to say.
So he gets let in on a side door, which again, just like, why were they leaving this guy out there for so long? Why? They knew he was having this conversation. I mean, I'm glad that they did. And I really appreciate how Jeff went about that. But you'll notice he doesn't leave until Jeff starts talking about this clear cognition. And it really does seem that in Scientology, there are upper levels, on the bridge to total freedom. Those upper levels have been disclosed on South Park. They're all over the internet. The average Scientologist will never hear about Xenu and body thetans because most of them don't make it up until onto these confidential upper levels because they're so darn expensive. And you have to go through so many hoops. I somehow made it up to operating thetan level 4, and there are 8 of those levels total. You have to go through intense interrogation and screening to be let on these levels, to be approved by Scientology. And I'm pretty sure they are still kicking themselves for ever letting me on. They were hesitant at the time, and now I get why. Because here we are. They probably saw it coming to some degree. To some degree. They knew. They probably thought, I don't know, this girl seems like she could just pop off someday. I don't know. Multi-generational Scientology family, not always a guarantee that you're going to toe the line. These days, it usually is the opposite. It's the opposite because we leave, we get out in the real world, we find out the truth, and then we come back. That's the Sea Org motto. We're going to jump over to Nashville, where there's some First Amendment auditing, Scientology protests going on over there. Nashville has one of those beautiful, large, empty buildings, I guess is the only way I know how to describe it, because that's kind of just what it is. Link down below to this channel. Make sure you subscribe as well.
Beautiful old building. How long have you guys been in it? Oh, okay. Huh. Nice. Are there living quarters or just services? Okay. Well, hey, have a good evening. Okay. I know I could have asked much tougher questions, but if I'm honest with you guys.
So he's got his style too. And I thought it was interesting that nobody's there. I don't know what time of day that was, but these big, beautiful buildings. And you guys know these are paid for on the backs of Scientologists. And that is a great question for Scientologists. How do you feel about the financial demands that are put on you? How do you feel about having to pay for these buildings, this real estate all over the world, giving up, maxing out your credit cards, mortgaging your homes so Scientology can hold on to these empty buildings. Look what happened in Austin. That building has sat there for a very long time, and they're not allowed to move in. David Miscavige wouldn't let them move in because they didn't have enough staff, right? They didn't have enough staff. And speaking of Austin, let's take a peek at our Pearl Snappy. I just got a little clip here. You got to watch the whole video. And again, just another one that you got to subscribe to and follow, because she comes up with a lot of original music too, which is a ton of fun. She is outside the Austin organization, which is opening February 24th. That is coming up fast. Let's take a look and a listen.
Like, stop calling the police on me for not doing anything, or make up something cooler. They knocked. I didn't, though. I didn't. They breathed on the church. They breathed on the call please. Oh my God, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Nessie, it'll be okay. You can go back to flag later. Yeah, knock 3 times. Knock, knock, knocking on the news door. Yeah. Knock 3 times if you want to get arrested.
My mic was muted. Yesterday, it would seem Scientology was claiming that somebody was knocking on their windows and doors. They're live streaming. There's video of all of this. She's standing right there. And so they call the police and say that it was her, which is not true. She has videos of everything that she's doing. But it inspired some pretty fabulous music. So I'm totally here for that. Totally here for that. Kazri of Hekati.com. Thank you so much. Osagoon hit my camera during live stream at Portland, Org yesterday. Video on my channel. Be in touch to be in the know about the next action at the org. Wow. So we'll have to go check that out. I'll have to check that out. If you have a clip of that and you want to just email it to me at natalie@tonkatalk.com, that would be fabulous. I would like to see that. Lori Plays, thank you so much and great to see you here. I enjoy my morning highlights so much, especially on days like today when I missed so much yesterday. Thanks, Natalie. You're awesome. Thank you, Lori. You're awesome. You are awesome. Lori, if you don't know, you can find her at Lori Plays. She protests in Clearwater. She gets out there with Aaron from Growing Up in Scientology and Surrounded by Scientology. In fact, I'm going to be chatting with Surrounded by Scientology, George. I do believe tomorrow I'm going to be interviewing him. That'll be a lot of fun. Yesterday, I was able to do an interview with Jay from Denver Scientology AUDIT. Get over to his channel and subscribe. If you did not see that interview, you should watch it because he walks us through what happened when he was basically swatted when he was outside the Denver Scientology org. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Several police cars, guns drawn, pointed at him. He even thought there was like one of those laser guns. I know it's not called a laser gun, but you know what I mean? When the red dot comes out, I'm sure somebody knows what it's called. Obviously, I don't know much about that. But Jay, he's very cool, very calm and collected, and he shares about it. Also shares how and why he got started protesting. He's never been in Scientology. And I absolutely love it. Pearl Snappy, we love you, girl. Keep it up. Cannot wait. We're all requesting a collaboration between Pearl Snappy, LARA FM, and Kelly Copter. Yesterday, I also did an interview with Kelly Copter. If you get a chance, go check that out. It's on my channel. She shares the inspiration behind the creative parodies that she does about Scientology. And she did one of the best videos and compilations that I've seen on the incident where if you've recently joined and you're wondering like what happened to Aaron Smith-Levin growing up in Scientology in Los Angeles, the best recap of that is on Kelly Copter's channel. She just did an amazing job pulling in so many different points of view and camera angles, and she captures what happened. And it's intense. It is definitely intense. Yes, free DOA, doesn't belong in a cage. Free DOA. Cannot wait to have him out. It is so crazy that he's being held on conspiracy to do something with tear gas, but had no actual tear gas. Rainy Day Puddles, thank you so much for this. Did you get my email regarding the video on gold juice from Andrew Gold? I did. I just need to watch it. I appreciate you sending it. And when everybody sends me stuff, just know that there's a lot of stuff. Sometimes it just takes me some time to go ahead and work through it all. That was in regard to a video we shared about, it was on Whitney Cummings' podcast, or it was on her Instagram, where she was talking about trying to draw a connection between this golden juice and Scientology, but could have just been too because of what happened to the person she was interviewing, that they were near Scientology. But it would be fabulous, right? Jeff Reborn now. I would love to see those three broads interact with each other. LOL, that would be awesome. Make it happen, Nat. I think I talked to Kelly yesterday and she's game. You know what else I think would be fun? How fun and hilarious would it be? Do you guys remember We Are the World when that came out in the 80s? Maybe, was it the 80s? I think it was. That type of song, but to have people in their different locations filming it and recording the song that way. So when you jump to one person's turn, they're not all in the same studio, but it's that style, kind of a come together song. And then boom, here's LARA FM in LA outside the blue buildings. And then boom, here's Kelly Copter in her studio. And then boom, here's Pearl Snappy outside Austin. Oh, I just think that's just an amazing idea. And I agree, Treasure Rescue, Kelly Copter is the queen. She is. And she's got that hat crown to prove it. It's very fancy and I want one. I don't know where I'd wear it. Probably just the grocery store, to be honest. Maybe walking around post office. I don't know. I don't go that many exciting places. One thing too that I want to do is work on this channel and creating more playlists to be able to catch somebody up quickly on kind of what's going on and some best practices for protesting as well. Putting together something like that is in the works. Yes, Tim. We are the SPs for the world. Oh my goodness. Oh, that would just be hilarious. That would be funny. We are the SPs of the world. I'm sure. Keep track of your ideas because there's so much creativity out there. So many people protesting in creative ways that I think we can pull this together and get it done with all of us, working on it. So please keep that in mind. And again, I am playing, we here, all of you with me, we are playing this birthday game. In Scientology, they play the birthday game. L. Ron Hubbard's birthday is March 13th. And they are all forced to play this game where they get their statistics straight up in vertical. Ooh, by the way, I just added some new merch with straight up and vertical. So there's a link that's been shared to the merch, or you can just go to my channel and click on the link for the merch and see it. I just added some new merch for straight up and vertical. So this is the birthday game. They're forced to play it. I was forced to play it for years and I hated it. It was so stressful. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to play the birthday game on my own terms. And my gift to L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology, and gift from all of you, is going to be growing this channel and doing our best to hit 20,000 subscribers by March 13th, which is L. Ron Hubbard's birthday. And I'm so giddy about it. I'm just so giddy about it because it's playing the birthday game, which is what Scientology wants us to do. What do we want to give L. Ron Hubbard? I would love to give him that and continue, because YouTube is just the gift that keeps on giving. So I appreciate your help. You guys have been amazing. Check your subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, go ahead and like this video. And remember, if you see something, say something. You can email me at natalie@tonkatalk.com. I actually am going to creating a new email that I'm going to share later for this because it's getting really busy on the other one. So I will be sharing that in a little bit. But thank you so much for your support, for being here, for supporting these other channels. I strongly encourage you to jump into the description down below, check them out, subscribe to them as well, and support those channels. Thank you so much, and get out there and have an amazing cult-free day.